Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh,
10 minutes. 5.
I would like to thank George for organization, and I appreciate to have this opportunity to listen to a wonderful talks and learn something new here today. So this is a paper, yeah, by me and my supervisor, Professor Ostap Ockling. Actually, it's the size part of my dissertation defense. To be honest, yes, and stage-wise crop year prediction with multi-source functional indices. What has it to do with insurance, right? Okay, my PhD dissertation is about agriculture index insurance. So it's the third project of my whole PhD. And what is agriculture index insurance? So we have two pictures here. You see the corn in USA was affected by the drought in Texas. Okay, and on the right-hand side is the waterlogged field in UK. So due to the excessive rainfall, so the heat and the rainfall, it's two kinds of weather risks. If we link these weather indices or representatives with the crop yield losses faced by farmers, and when the values of these weather indices reach some threshold and triggered the insurance product, and so the farmers can get compensation. That's it. That's what agriculture insurance product does. So actually nowadays in this index insurance, we have multi-source data, not only the weather data, right? In the table 1, we have 3 groups of data and defined by the length of time series. The first group of data, we have 43 years. The year data, the Y, response variable. The weather data, yeah, the traditional indices, also 43 years, and this data are from USA. The second group, 8 years, include soil moisture and crop progress, that's phenology information. The last group, the crop mask and satellite imagery, they are remote sensing data. They are the shortest, only 5 years. So actually in this project, we answer this research question, how to integrate the time series of different lengths, how to integrate them in one model. So before introducing light, I would like to let you have a feeling what weather indices are defined, how they are defined. So GDD and CR, they are cumulative measures of temperature and rainfall. We have daily temperature and daily rainfall. We accumulate them together and to get these 2 indices for each location or farmlands or counties. And then I would like to introduce the optimal indemnity framework in actuarial science to you now. So the objective function is an expected utility of a farmer. And W is the initial wealth, and I is indemnity minus the yield losses, and the tau is the subsidy rate found by the government, and P is the premium, the price of the insurance product, and with a constraint on the price. And gamma is said to be 1, the loading factor, and times the expectation of the indemnity. So we derived the optimal indemnity file in John's paper, and we got this nice structure. The I star is the optimal indemnity under quadratic utility, and within I star we have the expected conditional expectation of our yield losses given X. X could be weather indices or remote sensing indices, right? And this in statistics is nothing but a regression. It could be parametric or non-parametric. We could use any method to estimate this conditional expectation. So now it's time to explain how we stage-wise estimate the three groups of time series. And the first group is 43 years, the second 8 years, and the last is 5 years. So if you look at the white block, it represents the overlapping segment of different groups of indices. So we firstly estimate with the longest time series, 43 years, and using the original Y, the yield losses. After that, we extract the residuals from the first group of results, and then we take the new residuals as the new response variable until we let the last group of indices, that 5 years time series, to estimate the last group of residuals. So that's how we did it. And you may ask what methods we have used here to estimate the conditional expectation, right? In this study, we applied various non-parametric ones, from the generalized additive model to functional generalized additive model. It's a tensor product of the index trajectory and the time. And also the Bayesian varying functional model. We let the spatial heterogeneity in this Bayesian hierarchical framework to capture both the within curve temporal dependence and the between curve spatial dependence. Right, each index, each functional time series is a curve, and each location has a curve. So we have many locations and also many years. So with the functional principal component, we could capture this dependence in one framework. And we also try some deep learning, hierarchical graph neural network to capture spatial temporal dependence. So we have weather indices. We have temperature, rainfall, wind speed in each location, right? So we firstly construct the local graph structure based on these weather indices. And we got a small graph for each location. And then on the global scale, each graph, we convert them into one node. And on the global scale, we have a global graph. So it's called hierarchical structure. So from the local to the global. After fine-tuning, we also get some results to make them comparable with the non-parametric statistical ones. So table 2, we could, table 2, and what's the difference between these two tables? We split the data sets temporally, either temporally or spatially. Temporally is the way we usually do, right? We have a time series, split them into 3 parts: the training, validation, and testing. And the spatial splitting is something unusual, but actually we took the spatial splitting in the end. Why? Because in our case, the last group of time series only have 5 years of data. It's impossible for us to split them temporally and train them. So let's have a look at the table 3. We have 3 groups of indices, 3 groups of time series. So in each stage, we could see it's very obvious that the R square is increasing, right, across stages. It means that the new information. Okay. Really contribute to the performance improvement. Okay. So that's the performance, what performance tells us. And we try to explain our results of permutation future importance analysis we permutate the test data set and define the future importance by a ratio of RMSE. RMSE on the permuted testing data, it's divided by the RMSE on the original testing data. So the higher the future, the ratio is, the more important the future is, or the index is. So when we embed our conditional expectation into our, at the very beginning, we introduced the optimal indemnity framework to you, right? When we embed this conditional expectation back into it, we could see the hedging effectiveness of our stage-wise contract. And we split the whole 102 counties in Illinois into 9 agricultural districts. So you could see that across streets, the shape of these points denotes the stage, and you could see that the ratio is increasing across stages, and also the results show the spatial heterogeneity. For some agricultural districts, the indices we have chosen are good, but for someone such as the number 40, 50, you see the basis risk ratio is always very low. It seems that we have a phenomenon called good indices in bad zones. So it calls for some, how to say, it's called location tailored contract or product design in the future. So let's make a conclusion. The first finding is that when we use the functional indices, we actually disaggregate the temporal information. So from the result, we know that it really works and the basis risk can be mitigated. And the second one is that even though we tried so many non-parametric methods and use so many different lengths of time series, the R-square is still not very high. The largest one is 0.67. And we got some agronomic literature to support this finding that the indices can only explain a portion of crop yield variability because there are other factors like farm management, right, pesticide abuse, but we can't take everything into account in one study. The last finding is that the basis risk can be reduced by integrating multi-source information. And the main contribution of this study is how to integrate various time series into one framework, right, to predict the crop yield and to design a better agriculture index insurance product for farmers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions?